are separated from the military involuntarily, that hurts.
It's taken from you.
It's ripped from you. Now, if you did your 4 years and got out, or if you ETS'd on your own, that's probably not as traumatic. You probably gave it some thought before you got out. But if the folks who are involuntarily separated, they gave it no thought. That was totally ripped from them. So now you're on the outside. Not only was those task conditions and standards, that reward system ripped from you, but that purpose was ripped from you as well. Now you're not feeling dangerous on the outside. For a man, anybody that comes out of combat arms, that can be a very, very dangerous place to be. Walking around in the civilian sector, not feeling dangerous, not feeling part of the mission, not having that purpose. I think that's why a lot of veterans get out and fall into some sort of addiction. You gotta find a way to get out of that. And I really don't know how to teach people or tell people other than, you got to find Jesus.
Well, one of the things I found out talking about the military is that I joined the military to develop self-discipline. Joining the military did not make me develop self-discipline, because as soon as I got out, man, I gained about 30 pounds.
Right.
I wasn't working out like that. I was disciplined when I had to be disciplined, when somebody was telling me to be disciplined. But I can tell you this, there's something about, and this is going to seem contrary to grace. It is not contrary to grace. It's just like I said, God has an order to things. It's just when you're doing what he's told you to do, there's a grace that will supersede the law. It's a different law. The law of grace in Christ Jesus has set me free from the law of sin and death, the law of liberty. If you look in the creation account, in the beginning, the earth was without form and void. So what is that? That's chaotic.
Right.
There's no structure. There's no blueprint. There's nothing that makes sense. It's chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And God says, let there be light. Well, there was light. And the next thing you know, he's separating lights. And the next thing you know, he's developing earth. He's there's water, and he's separating the earth from the water. So what's he doing? He's creating this divine discipline. One of the things that I have found, and I'm sorry to say that it took me this long to do it. And if I'm not careful, I can go back to old habits really quick because they're fun. The consequences ain't necessarily fun if you did it for a long, extended period of time.
Right.
But they're fun. The thing that really helped me develop discipline was understanding, believe it or not, Genesis, that creation account. So when you're undisciplined, your life it's chaotic, and you're used to having the things, task, condition, standards. And one of the hardest things to do, you might be to a level where you're even designing missions with task, conditions, standards. Like you said, when you get out in the world, in the civilian world, it's not that. There's other things kicking in. There's other elements at play. But one of the things I finally learned how to do in the last 7 or 8 years was develop my own task, conditions, and standards for Christopher Warenberg. And I had to get to the point where, pardon my French, but this is the way I talk to myself. So I'm not trying to be crude and vulgar. Well, what about this? And what about them other son of bitches don't matter.
Right.
Put it like this. I was having a Job moment.
Mm-hmm.
307 pounds, all this stuff, and I had bad habits. I was still able to function, but some of the writing was on the wall. You know what I mean? And then I started to see God's divine plan, his divine pattern, how he was taking a big hot mess of something, actually a big cold mess of something, and he ordered it. He planned it out. He created one of the most magnificent things ever in this earth. And then he created you and me. When Job's over there having his complaint because his whole life, which was divine favor, turns into ruin and chaos, and he's belly aching about it. You have friends that are trying to be righteous, but they're just talking smack.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking out their rear ends. What it takes is that encounter with God.
Mm-hmm.
It gets your friends, gets the friends that mean well but don't know what they're talking about, gets them to shut up. But it also helps you to realize that part of this is on me. Lord, you're Lord. And then guess what? It's restored. So I kind of liken it to that is all the other people encouraging you and not to belittle their encouragement, as well as your detractors. When you realize that, hey, this is what God's calling me to do, everybody tells you you do a great job. It didn't do it for you. There has to be, and again, not to be rude, be gracious. Don't say it like that. But inside, I'm going, well, hey, that's awesome. Then I go, Lord, I did that for you. I didn't do it for them.
I was letting my wife know we were kind of talking about this and going through this because her and I have the very exact same thoughts about the military. Man, there's times where I'd rather be back in the jungles of Central America. Um, I'd rather be on a mountaintop in Afghanistan. It's easier. It's easier than where I'm working at right now, the job that I'm doing right now. To me, that's probably a very veteran thing to say,
Mm-hmm.
um, because that was the environment that I was comfortable in, that chaos. I was very comfortable in the chaos. I can't say that there's no chaos in my life right now because that's not true. It's just a different kind of chaos.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. You have to take control of that chaos and structure it and make it into something for yourself, or else you're going to fail. When you're in the military, you're a part of a process. They pluck you out of
Mm-hmm.
civilian life and they insert you into the process, and the process is what works its way in you and takes care of you. The process shreds the weight off of you. The process makes you fit. The process makes you mentally tough and morally strong, and or mentally strong and morally tough. All those things. It's the process that does that.
Yeah.
When you come out of the military and you enter back into civilian life, there's no one in charge of that process anymore. So I like what you're saying. You are now in charge of the process.
Yeah.
You got to take control of it and create that discipline, or you'll be chaotic.